So none of these should be new to you. Barbary Crimson Cutie. We just wanted to show you how great they continue to look. Just excellent color in through the fall. We really love this Barberry. Also go to Mini Maroon. That's the next one there. If you want to click on that one. Mini Maroon is in the PW program. You can see there we got some great sizing, great color. These two Barberry are the go-to Barberry. They blow away the older varieties out there. So I know there's still people that have to have Nana and have to have whatever, but there's just superior breeding going on here. You don't have to worry about the invasiveness of it so much. And the big thing is it keeps clean foliage all the way through fall. You keep that color on there. So it makes it worth planting a Barberry again. So keep looking at those, keep pushing those. As you see, we have plenty of them to supply the fall here. So new gen. So we haven't talked about new gen in a while. So we have Freedom and Independence. This one here is Freedom. Cheryl is showing you the two sizes. So you got a 2 and a 3. You can see there we got great size. This one grows a little more upright. It's not really an upright, but a little more kind of egg-shaped upright. But it takes very well to trimming. You can turn it into a small hedge if you want, or you can trim it as a border plant. So remember, the new gen is all about resistance to boxwood blight. It also it seems to resist some of the other diseases too. It can also take more abuse. It can be smashed together. It can take a little more shade. It can, it just is a tougher all around boxwood. So Independence, go ahead and go to that one. That's the next one. Independence is more of the squattier type of growth, more like a velvet would grow, smaller leaf. And you can see there we got excellent sizing. When we were starting out, it was difficult to get the size because it grows just a little bit slower, but it's comparable to velvet. It was just trying to get those numbers up. But we got great numbers on these. You can see they're really nice sizing in a 2 and a 3. I would pick the 2. The 2 is a great value right now. You can see there from the photo, it's darn near as big as the 3. So if you got somebody on the fence, don't want to spend a little bit of extra money on the new plant, maybe push the 2, get them to try it, and I guarantee you they'll like it if they get it out there. Grass, show you a couple grass here. Bandwidth. Bandwidth we've had for a little while. The main reason we brought Bandwidth on is it is sterile grass. You can see there we're starting to, in the fall, we get that better coloring on the banding. So this is a horizontal band grass, and we have 460 heavy metal. This one here kind of has blues, silvery greens, very open plumer. It's a plains type of grass, considered a native. So great grass for native plantings, contract jobs where that's a big deal. Heavy metal's been around a long time, so it's a proven grass, and it also fits that price conscious mode for people who are watching price. Rigoletto, you can see here, different animal. It's going to have the striping on the leaf. That's the vertical striping. This is a great looking crop of 3 gallons. You can see there the height. A couple more weeks here, we'll be in the bloom. I'm starting to see little signs of the plumes starting out there. They're basically, you can start pluming anytime from the 15th on. These type of grasses are all about the fall plume. So, and then you get the added benefit of the striping and the color through the year. So Jazz is the next one. It's a newer one out there. This is a completely different animal, a whole series coming on. Schizophrenium. Say that 10 times fast. It's schism. It's actually schism, but it doesn't matter. Don't try to pronounce it too much. But it has different colorings throughout the year. We have jazz, and then we have what's the other one? Twilight Zone. So we have Twilight Zone too. They're both very similar. They get pinks and reds and greens and a little bit of swirl of color. Very open plumer. This is as tall as it's going to get, so it's not a tall grass. But it's adaptable. They are native range grasses. Pretty tough. So they're a good grass to bring online, give you a little extra color out there with the foliage differences. Great plant for a mass planting. You know, I would consider this more of a mass planting grass than planting it by itself. I think it just looks so much better when it's in a mass. So, all right. So our special guest is Matt. So Matt is going to talk about Ilex verticillatas, the changes that him and his grower team did this year to get you much better berries for the fall. So take it away, Matt.
All right. Okay, so I hope you guys are prepared and brought some pencils and papers because I just drank a lot of coffee. Okay. To talk to you about what's been going on for us out here. So let's just kind of scroll through the pictures real quick. We got Goblin Orange. The next one on the picture is Berry Poppins there. You can kind of see a little bit of difference. The next one's Winter Red. The next picture after that's Magical Berry. And the next one is Red Sprite. Okay, so we got a lot of different varieties of Ilex verticillata that we've been kind of conquering and trying to go about and trying to make them get a good berry set for you guys. So go back to the Winter Red, and I'm going to show you guys what we've been kind of doing with that. So if you go back to that picture, you can see what this plant tries to do out for us out here in the container area. What it tries to do is it just keeps growing and growing and growing. See all that light green growth? That's growth that's been put on by this plant since maybe the end of July, beginning of August. So it's actually grown and stretched out since then. So what we were doing prior to that is we were taking some time and spraying it with a few different things just to try to get that berry set down in there so it didn't grow past what it was doing. So about 18 inches high, if you look at that ruler, that's where a lot of the majority of the berries are. Okay, and if you go back to all the pictures, that's about right where all the berries are set at. And the reason why that is, because where they were trimming them, that's exactly right where the trim line was at. So you can see that on that Berry Poppins, 18 inches, that's right where the berries are at. Anything past that, you're not going to have any good berries. And the reason is because of the maturity of the wood. Okay, so once you have an immature wood, you know, past the bloom time, because all that new growth is being pushed past when it does bloom, you're not going to have the berries. Okay, so that's something noteworthy to take to the customers. So what we try to do here is we try to make something stop and just stay at that 18 inches tall. So go back to that Goblin Orange, and what you're going to see there is something what we've been trying to do, and that is the berries are really, really close to the edge of that plant. Okay, and that's a lot more compact plant in nature, but we've made it stop, and that's because we were spraying it with the PGR growth regulator, and we finally figured out some tricks of what to do with that during the summertime. Okay, now there's some other tricks to getting this thing to berry the way it does, right? You also need you need to make sure that the plant's not stressed out in the summertime. And we do that pretty well with keeping the fertigation going and the water going on it. You got you also need the male. That's something, of course, you need to do too. You need to have the male for it. You also need to make sure that nothing's eating the berries off of it, right? The birds or whatnot. And then you also just need to make sure that it has some sunlight, which we obviously give it out here in the container area. Okay, so those tricks are what's going to get you the good berry set. So with that, we have done an excellent job out here with the Ilex verticillata. Now, there is some things with this. The Goblin Orange, now that's your proven winner one that they came out with. It has a little bit of orange tint on the berry. The berry pops, just kind of go through them again. That one's the red one that proven winners came out with. That's a little bit, yeah, and Cheryl loves that one, and that's her favorite. That one's a little bit taller stature than the Goblin Orange. Okay, so that's the two different ones there from proven winner. The winter red, that's your non-program one for the guys that are that like that older variety in the black pot. That's there, and then the next one's the Magical Berry. Now that one's our line. That's a PTW line. Now that's a good one too. That one gets a little bit taller, kind of like your Berry Poppins. Okay, but really good berry set on that one. And the last one's the Red Sprite. Now that one's kind of a shorter stature one comparative to the Winter Red, right? So it's a non-program one that's a little bit shorter in height to the Winter Red. So all of these, except for the Winter Red, can pollinate pretty easily with a male that's that we grow. That male is the Goblin Orange or Goblin Guy. Okay, so Goblin Guy can cross pollinate with all those ones. Winter Red's a little different. Winter Red's going to need a Southern Gentleman, and there's another one that we grow, Mr. Poppins. And that one can cross-pollinate with all these as well, except for Winter Red. Winter Red's a little different. That one needs a Southern Gentleman, okay? So with that, now there are some people out there that say they can get Southern Gentleman to cross-pollinate with the other varieties, and that is true. It all depends on your spring, though. Okay, so if you got a long, drawn-out spring where things are blooming for long periods of time, you can get the Southern Gentleman to cross-pollinate with the other ones. But Proven Winners, they came out with a pretty good line, big marketing brand, right? You got a Goblin Orange, you got a Goblin Guy. You got Mr. Poppins, you got Berry Poppins. So they try to make it in sync there just to try to make it easy for the customer to match up what the male is with the female. For us, Magical Berry, when we got that one, we don't really have a man to go with that. We don't have a magical man. Okay, maybe we will. Maybe we'll have that in the magical man's berries or something like that. I don't know. We'll have something on the line for that though. But that one can be pollinated with the Goblin Guy. Okay, so we have plenty of those in the line. But this is something that we're actually really excited about because I know in the past the berries have always been hidden down inside that plant, and right now they're pretty consistently within that 18-inch range of the plant, and anything above that was new growth from this year. But we're really excited because we can, going forward into next year, we only sprayed half the crops with that PGR, but going forward, we're gonna spray them all, and we're just gonna take this to the next level because we saw the results and we saw what it could do, and that's something to kind of talk up and get excited with your customers about. Ilex verticilata, though, is some other key notes about it is why it's used, right? And why it's used is because it's so tough. Insect resistant, disease resistant. They're just a tough plant, and they're used pretty much anywhere in the landscape because they can tolerate wet feet. They can tolerate areas that other plants can't. Okay, the only trick with Ilex verticilata is it can't be dried out in the summertime. Okay, and that's where going back to the berry set, if you stress out the plant with no water in the summertime, you will not have any berries. Okay, so that's the only thing it doesn't like. But other than that, it's a really resilient plant. Okay, really tough. That's why it's used every which way it can be used. I mean, it's great for decorative pieces in the wintertime. People usually use them in floral arrangements or whatnot during the wintertime holidays. And that's why, because it's such a great looking plant with the good berries on there. Okay. So that's about it for that. And any more questions, just let me know.
Hey, thanks, Matt. So, yeah, get with Matt if you have any more questions. It's fairly, Matt did the 10,000-foot view. It's fairly complicated what they did, but we're all real excited. So The extra step that we took was Cheryl and Floor went out there and they actually graded them as well. So they made darn sure that every single one of them has berries. We know that we dropped the ball over the last couple of years. So we upped our game. I just want to make sure that you feel confident to go out there. And the berries will continue to get deeper colors over the next couple of weeks. So hopefully you're as excited as we are, and we can move these through. Also, they are on special. So to celebrate our success, we are going to sell them cheaper, right? That's how we do them. So we got a really good special going on these. Now is the time to move them. We understand that they're never going to look better than what they do in the fall. So you got great specials going on them. So see what you can do. We'll buzz through this, and so you got time to work on other things. Blue Maid. We just wanted to show how great these are looking. We got 2,000 of them out there. You know, Blue Maid is a shinier leaf. Blue Maid easily pollinates with just about any male. You know, you can use Prince. Prince is probably the best pollinator out there, but always has that real nice, shiny, waxy leaf, and they continue to look great. Physocarpa Summer Wine. They continue to look really nice. We did a trim a little bit ago. They're popping from that trim. You can see there, they're fresh. They're not overgrown. We've had overgrown ones in the past. I've seen a lot of overgrown ones out there available from other people. They just look fresh. They look really nice and clean. So continue to push those. Pungens Pendula. I wanted to look at a couple of B&B items. So, you know, just going to buzz through these, look at these at your leisure, but some great looking weeping blue spruce, 60s, 72s, and 84s. Pinus strobus pendula. Go to that one next. There we go. So, you know, you got the same thing here. You got some 72s, 84s, and 96s. So we got some real big ones. And then Vanderwolf would be the last one. Go into that one. So we got some great looking Vanderwolfs out there. You got 60s, 72s, and 84s. So there are plenty other ones, pines and spruce out there. Those were just a few we wanted to show you that we know can get people excited. With digging, we're shooting for the week of the 20th. Inventory is entered. We did find a couple of things that we're going to add. It was mostly clear off stuff. So they will be adding one or two things, but that's really not going to affect your bookings and stuff for fall or whatever. So the numbers are in, they're in current bucket. So the inventory manager's report came out today. So take a look at that. It looked, I did a quick run through it. It looked real good. So, start getting with Mark. If you have any need, we will only dig pines and spruce the week of the 20th. We need the orders by the end of next week, if we can. Hemlock and arbs and that kind of stuff, I don't know. You know, for sure I can tell you it would be the week of October 4th for sure. Can we do it earlier? I don't know. If it's hot and dry, like right now, aren't the best, even though it's a little cooler, there's still not the best conditions to be out there digging those. So, and they're still growing. They're growing like great babes. So, we just want to get as much growth on this as possible and not stun them and stress them out. So that's where the digging process is. All right. A lot of info we threw at you. Please go back through the photos. You got a lot of great stuff that you can focus on, especially people still looking for a little bit of garden center sales. There's some really nice foliage plants out there to keep pushing.